chess. It just might be the oldest game still in play. While current pieces and rules may go back to Europe in the Middle Ages, the game itself goes back to the Indus Valley of India perhaps some 1400 years ago. Contrary to what my kids may think, I haven't been playing it quite that long. But for me, it conjures up memories of my own dad, blowing smoke rings with his pipe and long Sunday afternoons with black and white reruns of Sherlock Holmes playing in the background. Well, yes, he beat me yet again. And then there were seemingly endless days playing with the very same pieces I have in front of me today against my best friend with whom I was a bit more evenly matched. And of course, there were games with and between my own children when they were younger. Chess is a thinking game, requiring the ability to strategize, plan ahead, make sacrifices, all in the quest for the ultimate checkmate. The hard part, especially for the unpracticed, is having a clue what move one ought to make next. And a single wrong move can cost you the game. Now, until now, navigating this COVID-19 crisis, whether we agreed or disagreed with their moves, our leaders have made a lot of decisions for us. Schools, restaurants, salons, churches, theaters, and myriad other businesses and institutions whose attendance and availability we once took for granted were simply taken off the table, just not an option to enter their doors. And numerous, cautious, hopefully safer options to accomplish many things have been tried in their absence. But now, we are entering a new phase in the game. Happily, many places closed by the virus are reopening their doors to the public. However, the virus is still at large and very much a threat. So, to what degree do we re-enter life as usual, and to what degree are we cautious, even holding back on entering old haunts and engaging in former activities? Now at last, the freedom of choice that we've been longing for is back, and with it, a very hard choice indeed. Thankfully, however, it need not be so hard a choice as perhaps the next move in a game of chess, but the outcomes can be far more consequential. For chess is but a game, but COVID-19 is for keeps, and for some, a matter of life and death. As believers, we are told in Scripture that all our days are numbered before one of them comes to be. So does that mean we are invincible? Should we throw caution to the wind, confident that God will take care of his children? Jesus, interestingly, addressed this question when he was tempted by the devil in the wilderness. Satan took him up to the very pinnacle of the temple and invited Jesus to throw himself down, quoting even Scripture as he tempted him. As we read in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 4, verses 5 and following, "Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. 'If you are the Son of God,' he said, 'throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not even strike your foot against a stone.'" By the way, that's in Psalm chapter 91, verses 11 and 12. Jesus answered him, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 16. The confidence that God has numbered our days, the assurance that not a hair can fall from our heads without his permission, should give us great comfort as we face the uncertainties of the spreading virus and the instability of the times in which we live. However, it is no license for throwing away common sense. We ought to act wisely as we trust God and rely on him for direction. A far better approach would be to consider our options, consider our circumstances, consider the risks. Pray about it. Determine whether God has given us peace about going forth or not, and act accordingly with reliance and trust in him. As it says in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So before you head to the store or the barber shop or even church next Sunday, consider, please take seriously any community warnings that may apply to you and your situation. Pray about it. If you feel at peace to do so, go ahead, following the community guidelines as best you can, both for your own safety, peace of mind, and well-being, as well as for the safety, peace of mind, and well-being of others. And if you don't feel comfortable, stay home. It's okay. And now, please do also consider this. There are going to be some as they go forth who aren't going to feel the need to be very cautious at all. And others, they're going to feel very hesitant. So, for this also the New Testament gives us an example. Believe it or not, it has to do with eating meat. Because in those days, many Christians felt they should not eat any meat that was sold in the marketplace. It was untouchable, not because of a virus, but because it had been offered most of the time to some pagan idol. Others, however, said, hey, all food was created by God. Idols are nothing. We should take it and eat it with thanksgiving. Interestingly enough, the Apostle Paul in his letters affirmed Christians of both persuasions. To those who could eat without compunction, he said, go ahead, enjoy your food privately with thanksgiving. But to those who felt that their conscience would be compromised and that they would be sinning in doing so, he said, feel free not to eat. But at the same time, for those who felt very free, he said, please don't use your freedom at the expense of others, causing them to stumble. In fact, the Apostle Paul closed one of those little notes with these words in 1 Corinthians. He wrote, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. Do not cause anybody to stumble, whether Jew or Greek or the church of God, even as I try to please everybody in every way. For I am not seeking my own good, but the good of many, so that many may be saved. Hey, that's a wise word from all of us. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 31 to 33. And now, friends, I believe it is your move.